What's up, ASVAB party people? I'm Anderson, your ASVAB coach, and in this video, we're going to be going over a mini practice test for the ASVAB Arithmetic Reasoning section. So this is going to be part 1 of our 5-step series, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you want to get notified when parts 2, 3, 4, and 5 come out. And don't forget, if you're looking for even more ASVAB practice for free, be sure to click the link in the description of this video to get my free ASVAB practice test with video solutions. That way you can learn from every mistake. And as a bonus, you'll be registered for my free ASVAB group classes on Zoom on Mondays at 6 p.m. So all this free ASVAB content just for you, and we're happy to give it to you, my ASVAB party people. So with that said, let's jump right on in and raise your ASVAB score. Let's ace the ASVAB. So let's go ahead and dive on in here with question number 1. And as always, every single problem that we're going to face, any word problem, 3-step strategy, our basic word problem strategy, always start with the question. So you're going to see this noted at the top left here. First thing you want to start with is what do you want, what do you have, and then what is the connection. If you follow these 3 basic steps, things are going to be a lot easier for you. So let's go ahead and apply this. First step, what do we want? What's the question asking us to figure out? So right here it says, hey, how much money does Michael have if Margaret has $250.66? Okay, cool. So the first thing we want to mark off is what we want. Again, how much money does Michael have? Right there, that's the first thing we see. That's what we want. We want Michael's money. So Michael has blank dollars. I don't know what that is, but that's the information that I'm seeking, okay? Because once you know what it is that you want, then you can start looking at the information and see how that connects to really how to get there. So let's go ahead and check it out here. So what information do we have? Well, on a side note, I see here that clearly it says Margaret has $250.66. So we can definitely write that down. So Margaret has $250.66. Now remember, we don't have to write all of this down every single time. The better you get at word problems, the less you'll have to write because you'll know the information's right there in your head. But for now, as you're beginning the practice, it's really important to take proper notes so you can make those connections right there, clear as day on your paper. So what else do we see here? Well, if we want to find Michael's money, it's important to know what happens in this story. So here we see that Margaret and Michael realized their total savings for a purchase was short by $192.43. Now, you don't even need to read that number. You can just say Margaret and Michael have their total savings and it's short by this much money to buy something. They needed this much to make the purchase. So if they need this much money, they were short by this much money, and Margaret has this much. Well, how can we get to Michael? Well, let's think about it. Because if they need that $706.57, but then Margaret has this much, and they were also short by the $192.43, let's think about what that might mean. Well, let's think about the forward action. If they did have enough money, that means that we would have Michael's money, Margaret's money, and that amount that they still need, that they were short by. All 3 of those values, Michael, Margaret, and the short amount, all of that together makes the amount of that purchase, whatever it is that they were trying to buy. So with that said, bam, right there. We see that if we want to find Michael's money, we can set up something like this, a relationship like this. We can set up the relationship saying, hey, Michael plus Margaret plus that amount that they were short by. So we can say that $192.43. All of that together is supposed to equal that $706.57. So all of those different things together, because remember, Michael and Margaret together, they were still short by that $192. So they need that much more to be able to make that purchase. That's right there. So what do? We're going to fill in the numbers that we have. We just have one more to fill in for Margaret, and we can just solve this and we're set to go. So here, we'll go ahead and write it again. Let me just zoom in here and we'll say again, Michael plus Margaret. What does Margaret have? Right there, $250.66. plus the 192.43 that we're still short by. That's going to equal, again, the 706 and 57 cents. So what we can do is, hey, we can just go ahead and add these together and then take it away from that total of $706 and we'll be good. There are a few different ways to do this. We can take away one at a time, or we can just add these together and then take them both away at the same time. Either way is fine. Let's go ahead and get to work here. So what we'll do is I'll just go ahead and add these two together. And you can do this with mental math. You can do this with adding up and down, but I'm going to go ahead and try to do this with some mental math. So I'll go ahead and just take the 250.66. I'll add 100. So that'll be 100, so 350 plus the 90, that'll be 440, 442. And so I have 442.66. So 442. And then you'll have the 66 cents plus the 43 cents. Again, I'm just employing some mental math strategy here. You can take a look at the website with some more stuff to work on your mental math tricks. But 66 plus 43, that'll give you 1.09. So we have 442 plus 109, so that'll be 443.09 as that total. So cool. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and just take all of this. And now all I have left to do is subtract this on both sides, and we're done. So minus the 443.09 on both sides. Now again, I truly, totally recommend using mental math because it'll basically stop you from taking all the time in the world in terms of borrowing a 1, borrowing a 1, borrowing a 1. If you know your mental math, this is going to be pretty fast. So let's go ahead and dive on in here. Let's go ahead and use some mental math again. Basically, I can turn this into 706 minus 400. So I can just go ahead and 700 minus 400. That's going to be 300. So we'll have 306.57 minus 43.09. So from here, I can go ahead and subtract the 40. So 306 minus 40, that's going to be 266 minus the 3, 263. So we'll have 263.57 minus 9 cents. And so from there, 57 minus 9, that's pretty straightforward. 57 minus 9, that's going to end up being 48. And so boom. So that'll be 263.48, and we can call that a day. That will be that final amount, or the amount that Michael has, to make it all add up to that 706.53. And notice how we have 263.48 listed as answer choice A. And there it is. So if you want to work on more things like this before we go into the next problem, remember that if you're in my program already, boom, that's Unit 1, General Word Problems for the ASVAB. So go to the Arithmetic Reasoning course and you can work on more of those. So let's go ahead and continue here because we have more Unit 1 examples in this next problem. Let's get into it now. Let's have fun. All right, so let's dive into question number 2 here. Now again, what you're going to notice at the top right corner right there, you're going to see that it says Unit 1 General Word Problems again. So this is in the same unit, the same category. And remember, with general word problems, there's not really going to be a formula to follow. It's really going to be up to you in terms of understanding the story and making a solution that makes sense. So let's go ahead and see how this one's different from that first one so we can keep getting a better understanding. So here we go. First step, as always, read the question sentence. Right here it says, on what floor did Joshua finish their mail run? Sounds good. So let's just go ahead, bam, right there. That's what we want. That's the first thing that we should be looking for. Why does any of this matter? So, boom, step 1. Joshua finishes mail run. Joshua finishes on the blank floor. You know, it's always good practice to write that down or just say that in your head to make sure that you know when you're done. Because there are going to be a lot of different numbers being thrown at you, and you want to know that you're good to go because you know what the numbers mean. So, here we go. First of all, again, we know what we want now. Now let's see the information that we have to make a proper connection. So let's read through. Let's read the story. So Joshua works in a corporate building delivering packages to recipients on different floors. I think we can imagine that. No numbers in that first sentence, but I think that helps us illustrate the idea. He makes so he can start on this floor, goes to this floor to make a mail run, a delivery, here, blah, 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 blah. So it says, starting from level 106, he goes up 15 floors, up 18 floors, up 6 floors, and then down 17 floors. On what floor did Joshua finish? So this one seems like a pretty straightforward problem because it looks like we have a starting point. We start at level 106. Again, that's right here, level 106. Starting from level 106, we see that we go up 15 floors, up 18 floors, up 6 floors, and then lastly, don't get tricked, it says down 17 floors. So be careful. Be very, very careful. That way you don't accidentally include up as, plus, down as minus, but then you miss the minus and you accidentally use a plus. You don't want that. But we can clearly see here that if we start from floor 106 and then we go up 15 floors, we're going to be adding 15. Then we're going to go up 18 floors after that, so we'll add 18. Up 6 floors, so we add 6. And then down 17, so we will, again, subtract 17. We had to be able to do this quickly, which we did, and now all that's left for us to do are the operations, and we can move forward. Nice and easy. So with that, booyah, we're going to go ahead and see here that we can do this a couple different ways, honestly. We can start from 106 and use mental math with all 4 of these, or we can go ahead and add all of these over here. We can add all of these up right away and then just plug it back in. It's really up to you. Whatever mental math strategies you want to employ, again, are up to you. But I'm going to show you the power of mental math really quick in terms of just starting from 106 and then incorporating each of these. So watch. Level 106, add 15, that's going to be 21. So 121, then 139, then plus 6, 145, subtract 17, that'll be 128. Done. Again, that's mental math for us right there. The answer is going to be level 128. That's quickly with mental math, and if you practice enough, you'll have all the confidence you need, just like that. So as we prepare for the next problem coming up, number 3 out of 5, remember, if you're in the program already, go right there. That's Unit 1, General Word Problems. You have an unlimited set of these types of problems and more, way more. They give you step-by-step solutions, recorded lessons on demand, ready for you whenever, and all the worksheets you need to continue practicing. So get in there, keep practicing if you're in the program. But if not, just go ahead and hit me up. Again, my phone number is 567-698-8867. Just say you need ASVAB help and I'll direct you in the right direction to help you raise your score. So with that, let's dive into question number 3. All right, so here we go. Question number 3. Let's go ahead and dive in. Let's keep having fun. First things first, always pay attention to the question sentence. What is it? What information are we trying to end up at? Let's make our lives easy. So here it says, what is the cost of the vacation? Okay, sounds good. That seems pretty simple, right? Doesn't seem like, we don't know what we need to do yet, but we do know what it is that we're trying to find. The cost of the vacation. So keep that in your head quickly. Boom, vacation costs, and then we'll just have a placeholder for that. And again, that right there can happen in your head. You can just keep that in your head or write it down, either way. But make sure you understand and identify the question. Let's now collect the information and see how it relates. So we're going to do a quick run through, kind of ignoring the numbers, but then we'll write the numbers down after. Again, you want to understand the story. So here we go. Amanda has this much money, James has this much money, and Joshua has that much money. They would like to pool their money together to go on a lavish vacation, but only have 1/5 of the amount they need. What's the cost of the vacation? So what that tells me already, one thing I already saw here that's going to make this problem super easy is that I already found the connection. And here it is. The vacation, they want to go on a vacation, but they only have 1/5 of the amount that they need. So if I take a look at Amanda's money, James's money, and Joshua's money, their money together, again, is only 1/5 of what they need. So think about it like this. If I said I only have half of what I need, I would double it to find out how much I actually need, right? If I only had 1/3 of what I actually needed, well, then I would multiply that amount by 3 to find out the whole amount. If it was 1/4, I would multiply by 4 to see what I actually need. Here in this case, since we only have a fifth between all of them, that means we'll take that amount that they all have together and multiply it by 5. Because again, together they only have 1 out of 5 pieces, 1/5. So to find out what the whole thing is, 5 out of 5, multiply by 5. So now that I have that in my head, I can state right here, if I take Amanda plus James plus Joshua, if I take all 3 of these friends here, their money, and pool it together, again, they only have 1/5. So to get to the cost of the actual vacation, I'll multiply that amount by 5, and that's going to be the cost of the vacation. And that's it right there. Again, you want to be able to read the story. Notice how I didn't incorporate the numbers yet. We have to be able to incorporate the story first. So now all that's left to do, plug in the numbers, solve. Let's get some mental math in. Here we go. So Amanda, let's write that number down first. We have a 241 and 45 for Amanda. We have then 178.32 for James, and then 270.09 for Joshua. So we have all 3 of our party people here. Let's go ahead and add these up as quickly as we can, and then take that result, and don't forget, we'll be multiplying by 5. So here we go. Let's do some mental math here. We have 200, 100, 200, so that's 500. Then from there, so I'm going to just underline where I'm using my mental math tricks. Next up, we're going to go ahead and use blue. So we have 40, 70, so that's 110, 70 again, that's 180. So right here we have 500 plus 180. And then I'll go ahead and take the 1, the 8, and the 0, so that's 9. And then we can take the last part here and do our thing. So 45 cents plus 32 cents, that's going to be 77 cents. 77 plus 09, that's going to be 86. So plus 86 cents. And there we go. So in my head, I was able to write those things there. And now I'm going to add those up because it's super easy because we have a lot of zeros to work with. So booyah, we're good. We have 500 plus 180, so that's 680. 689, 689, 86. So that's what they have together. So that's what they have together between the 3 of them. But we are not done. We need to multiply now by 5. So booyah, multiply by 5, and we're good. So with mental math, again, you could do that, but this is 5 digits, so you don't really need to try to do mental math. You can just go ahead, multiply by 5 right here, and you're done. 6 times 5, 8 times 5, plus 3 is 43. Then you have 9 times 5, 45, plus 4 is 49. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 4 is 44. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 4 is 34. So we have 3,449 with 30 cents. Do we see that answer here? We see 3, 4, 4, 9, and 30. Right there is answer choice D, and we are done. Nice and easy. Again, my party people, this is what it's all about. We want to be very, very, very careful about how we do mental math, but as long as you have enough practice, you'll be doing it like it's second nature, really. So again, get your practice with mental math in, because once you figure out what to do with the problem, you give yourself that opportunity to do it quickly. So let's dive on into question number 4 here. Let's keep having some fun. So here's a nice little switcheroo here. If you take a look here, we see that we are doing proportions now. So we have unit 2. So again, if you're in the program and want to practice more of these after, you have literally 4,000 practice questions just for proportions. So you can get in there and you can practice with step-by-step solutions all day, every day. But let's get into it here. Let's have fun, man. Let's go. So again, read the question first. The question is always about who, what, when, where, why, how many, which of the following. Those question action words. Stick to focusing on that. We're not going to be focusing on the if. That's extra information. This is what we focus on first. Then we focus on the information. So what we want is how many males. So the question we're being asked is we have blank males. And it's good practice. Whenever you see a problem that includes the word if in the problem, in terms of the question sentence, you want to write that information and connect it to the question. So for example, if I see right here that it says if there are 44 females, how many males? That means that the question is establishing a connection between males and females. And so you want that, Because any hints or clues that the problem can give you, you want those advantages. You really do. So there we have that. We're good to go. So we have blank males, and then we also have 44 females. I'm going to write those on the same line because, again, those two pieces of information are connected. Now, it says here that at a local YMCA, there are 6 males for every 4 females. What do I just notice? I just noticed that we are comparing males to females, and then we're connecting males and females in the question sentence. What is that a key property of? Proportions. Like we're talking about that, right? I told you this is a proportion question, but this is how you can tell that you're dealing with a proportion because you are comparing the same things. Males to females in 2 separate sentences. So that's how you know or can hint at yourself, yeah, this is a proportion. I'm going to write down my information and make sure that I compare the same things in the same way. That's the key idea, main idea for proportions. One more time, write it down. Compare the same things in the same way. So here we have 6 males for every 4 females. So I'll write that down in purple. 6 males for every 4 females. Again, compare the same things in the same way. Males first, females second, males first, females second. Just like that. And so, take a look. We can do 2 things here. We can set up a proportion, or we can use the same comparison the same way to get this done pretty quickly. How do I know I can do this very quickly? Watch. So, I'm going to set up the proportion. I'm going to say M for males. So I'll say M males over 44 females. So again, males to females. Is going to be the same as males to females. 6 over 4. So you can set this up like this and then you can solve, which if you do, notice that you have a big multiplication here. You have 44 times 6, which if you know your mental math, that's going to be 264. And then from there, you divide by 4 to find out what it is. But you don't have to do all that work. You don't. Because one thing I noticed is that if you compare the same things in the same way, you can get this done mentally right here. Notice that if you're trying to go from 6 to the answer, that's going to be the same way as 4 to 44. Again, compare the same things in the same way. So here, the relationship from 4 to 44 is times 11, which means you'll have to have the same comparison up there between 6 and M. Again, same comparisons in the same way. That's how proportions work. So 4 times 11 is 44. That's correct. 6 times 11 equals 66. And that's your answer. You're done. Again, this one was inconsequential if you know a little bit of mental math here with proportions. So there it is. That's question 4. Now, again, if you're in the program, hop into it. Unit 2, proportions. You have all the practice, on-demand videos, guided practice, everything you need. Get in there. But let's dive into question number 5. Let's keep having fun here, my party people. And we're back for example number 5 here. So with this one, I want to go ahead and just, before we finish this video, remember that this first part is just proportions and general word problems. And in parts 2, 3, 4, and 5, we're going to see more examples and more difficult topics going through and through and through. So just make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. And if you've liked the video up to this point, like it and comment your favorite part. That way more people can see the video just like you have. But let's dive in. Let's not waste time. Let's go, 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 go. At first, what do we always say? Read the question first. So here we have it. We see here that it says, where is Sandra now in relation to where she started? So basically, where is Sandra now? So Sandra is blank steps or whatever. Because we look at the answer choices, we see that it says steps left, steps left, steps left, steps left. So for sure, I'm going to go ahead and just blank steps to the left. Now, some of these answers could have said steps to the left, steps to the right, and that would have changed things a little bit. But let's just take this problem for what it is. Don't overcomplicate things. Just keep it simple. We want to know where Sandra is. So Sandra is blank steps wherever. Okay. Let's understand how we get there. We just want to know where Sandra is. Well, where was Sandra? What did she do? So that we can go ahead and mimic those steps and see where she is now. So What do we see? Let's write this down. Here we go. Sandra marks where she is currently standing with a piece of tape. So let's imagine that. Here's a piece of tape. Bam, here's where I am. Then Sandra takes 8 steps to the left. Okay. 13 steps to the left. Okay. 1 step to the left. Okay. And then 12 steps to the right. Okay. Where is Sandra now? Well, with that said, I mean, we can easily mimic what just happened. Because here's where Sandra starts. We can go ahead and mimic that piece of tape. So here's where Sandra is at the start. And then we see that we took again, right here, 8 steps to the left, 13 left, 1 left, and then we see that we took 12 to the right. Okay, so we can mimic that if we follow it like this. Left to the 8, or to the left 8, to the left 13, to the left 1, but then to the right by 12. Now, here's one way that we can kind of incorporate this super easy. A number line. We can just say that negative is to the left and positive is to the right. That's a really, really, really easy way to go about this. And why not employ it? Let's do it. So we'll go ahead and say that we have -8, -13, -1, and then a positive 12. Because again, everything to the left was negative, everything to the right is positive. Whatever your final number is when you add all of these together, well, if it's negative, that's left, positive, that's right. And since all of the answers say left, it sounds like we should have a negative number, right? Yeah, we should have a negative number. So let's see what we got going on here, my party people. Let's go. -8 plus -13. Don't know your mental math with negatives? You gotta practice. Get on to it. Reach out to me if you need help practicing your math. But -8, -13, that's -21, -22, so that's -22, and we still have to add that 12. Well, what's -22 plus 12? That's going to be -10. And there it is. Boom. So -10 means we have 10 steps to the left, and that's why C is going to be the answer. Just like that. Just like that. So again, just remember, every single problem is going to be different. You want to make sure that you read each problem as if it's a brand new one. Start with the question. Tell the story by gathering the information and making your connection. And once you're confident that your connection works, boom, attack that problem, calculate as quickly as you can. So let's go ahead and conclude this video, recap, and I'll send you on your way, my ASVAB party people. Thanks for watching and sticking around to the end of this video, my ASVAB party people. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below letting us know what your favorite part was. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated for all of our future ASVAB videos. We'll see you in the next one, my ASVAB party people. And don't forget, free ASVAB practice test, video solutions, and classes once a week. Don't forget to register with the link in the description of the video. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.